Hey, it is Xennial Gamer, and I am excited today to introduce you to Arc the Lad R, the 7th game in the Arc the Lad series. Now, this is a sponsored video, but I gotta tell you guys, I've been playing it since they reached out to me. I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of amazing things about this game, which I hope to share with you during this video. Now, this is gonna be, it's a high-level overview video, so we're not gonna get into, like, the specific detail of each element of the game. Possibly we'll do some of those in later videos. For right now, what I want you to really focus on, first of all, is that the graphics are really, really cool. If we're talking about a mobile game right now, the graphics have this amazing depth to them. And then the game itself, it's the actual genre is called tactical fighting, but to me what I liken it to is basically a turn-based puzzle fighting game. And you guys will see, we're about to jump into a fight right now. You guys will see what I mean by that. You'll also notice that the characters all feel very anime inspired, that the actual actions, the effects, the fighting, all of that feels very anime inspired. Now, once we begin the fighting, what's going to happen is we're going to have a giant grid that we're allowed to move our characters around as we wait for the enemies to come to us. So we've got this giant grid, so every character you has certain movement conditions. They can move within a certain range, and the idea here is actually we're going to be moving our characters up to meet the enemy, but we want to build a formation where basically the enemy can only attack our tankier characters. We keep our mages or our healers kind of in the back line. You also see this line connecting one character to the other. So what that line is, it's actually a passive buffing skill. This is one of the cooler things about the combat mechanics. Rather than casting skills or spells that last for a certain number of turns, it's all about the positioning. So if we click on our hero right here, we'll see that our passive actually raises physical defense and magic defense of allies in range by 50%. So where I am right now, I'm only raising the defense of 1. If I move over here, I'm raising the defense of 2. So a big part of setting up your formation is to make sure you're taking advantage of the passives, which can raise your defense, can raise your offense, things along those lines. Now we're going to wait for the enemies to come to us, and we can attack the enemies, or they can attack us from any of 3 different directions. You can attack them from the front head on. Now when you attack them head on, there's a higher chance that they're going to counterattack. But if you were to attack them from the sides or from the back, you might see that they get additional defense or you get additional offense, all based on the positioning. So we're going to come up here right now, and this time we're actually going to use a special attack. We're going to use the Inazuma Renegeki, which I am sure I butchered the pronunciation of, but you guys know me. So we're going to go ahead, and there we go. We get counter down, magic defense down, and we're able to do an AoE attack right there. We hit 3 enemies by positioning ourselves in the center of the grid. And you guys get the idea. This is all about the formation that you set up. So that's where I said at the start, it's kind of like a puzzle game. Tactical fighting is the actual genre name, but it's a lot of fun. As you progress further in the game and the challenges become more difficult, you have to put a lot more thought into both the characters that you're bringing with you and the formations that you're developing with those characters. It creates like an infinite amount of possibilities. Okay, so now we are here at the home menu. I want to talk to you guys about some of the different game modes. Those of you who are watching my channel, I'm sure you're familiar with gacha-style games already, so I'm not going to go through every single detail in the menu, but you can see I've got several notifications up right now. So I just actually completed a couple of missions. We have our daily, our ordinary, and our event-based missions. You can collect each mission individually, or you can just kind of claim all, right? We also, on the front screen, we have our tutorial navigation. I think a tutorial is pretty straightforward, so we won't spend too much time on that, but I really just want to point out that the game is giving you those notification icons to tell you what you have to do next. So one thing I didn't mention before, guys, this game is just released. It was released on May 11th in the Western Hemisphere, so Arc the Lad R has actually been around for a couple of years, but it was only available in the Eastern Hemisphere, where most of the Arc the Lad series has actually been known for more than like 25 years now. This game actually started on PlayStation, or the series started on PlayStation originally. There were several sequels. It's one of the more popular RPG games out of Japan, but it never really got its opportunity to come out here to the Western Hemisphere. So this is one of our first chances, and really I think our first chance at an Arc the Lad game in something like 15 years now. But it's a really nicely developed series. You can tell there's some huge benefits to playing a game that has been part of such a long-running series. let's go ahead and take a look at the characters. So we come into this menu right now, and you can see we have the option to edit our party, so you can actually have 8 different parties. But maybe more importantly, well, not more importantly, the party list is actually pretty important, but just as importantly, we also have the ability to upgrade and evolve our characters. So following the standard gacha format, you can summon 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star characters. Now, I will tell you, the game is really generous. Like, actually, let me just come back here real quick. Look at how many 5-stars I've got, guys. This is crazy. So, I've been completely free to play since I started. As you're doing the storyline, they give you tons and tons of 4- and 5-star characters, which is really nice. Like, you're not going to have to sell your house in order to get one 5-star, right? So you do get a really good variety of all the characters. That's relevant as we talk about some of the other game metas. But let's say that there is a 3-star or a 4-star that you really like. You like their kit, or you just like their look. You can actually come into this Evolve menu right now, and once you've gathered the materials, all of which are available through weekly quests, you can bring that character up to 5-star, so it gets the maximum level cap raise, so it gets the higher base stats, things along those lines. We also have a really pretty cool skill tree. So if you come in here to unlock abilities, and we'll just pick one character at random. Again, you collect different materials that you can get through daily quests. I believe you can also get them through Summoning Dude gachas. You can get them through a few other areas in the game, but as you get enough materials, you can advance along this skill tree. So we're looking at the character side right now. The very first one will give me a max HP up, increases my max HP, which I think will scale as I level. Now, as I advance the skill tree, one of the really cool things about this is I have the opportunity to choose my path and see which skills I want to get first. So I get to this fork in the road, which is an attack up, and now I can unlock this right here. I can unlock this max mana point up, but then from there I can move down along the skill tree over here, and I get a chance at an affinity upgrade and a gear slot unlock, or I can move up the main path up here, and you can see the path continues on, and I can move on to some of the biggest upgrades like movement up, which is, you guys saw the fighting map at the start, so movement up is a really big deal. And the nice thing is every character has their own skill tree, so we're talking about a lot of really long-term progression opportunities as you find different characters that you enjoy. Now, you can also level your characters up. There's 2 ways to level them up. You can level them up through fighting and missions and so forth, and you can also level them up with certain materials you collect. Unfortunately, I used all my materials to level up the characters in my party now because I was taking on a more difficult quest. So I can't demonstrate the level up, but you'll see from the menu that we're in, if you have the materials, you can actually level your characters up. Now, the last thing I'll show you over here is that we do have the ability to change outfits, so we kind of have skins. The nice thing here is, once again, the various skins are actually available to you. I don't know if there's some option to purchase additional skins, but when I've played around with it, it's looked like I have access to all the skins. I think it's just based off the gacha. Off the character's star level, so we can go ahead and change our outfit right here, change to the 5-star outfit, definitely get a really nice aesthetic upgrade. Now, along those lines, each character has their own individual quest. This is, I think, one of the coolest things about the game, because again, it's all about the individual characters and which ones you want to progress the most. So if we come in here right now, you can see that I've already cleared the first stage, the Lonely Battle. I've got the Active Courage coming up next, and if we switch over to our Party 1, you'll see most of my characters are between level 17 and 20, so this one could be a little bit more challenging since the foe level is level 22. And because of that, it's going to go ahead and warn me that I might actually lose. But we're going to give this one a shot, just to give you guys another chance to see kind of what the fighting style looks like. Now, in this difficult challenge like this, I would definitely want to be manualing this fight, but because of the fact that we're just doing a really quick overview video, I am going to show off the auto feature, which is also a really good way to just kind of progress through the game faster. So we'll go ahead and auto, and we actually have part of our storyline progression at the start, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of cut right into the fight. And yes, guys, I tried to snap in the scene, and it was the worst snap of my life, but such is it. So, we're going to hit the auto. We're going to go ahead and start the fight. You can see, I love how quickly the auto moves, too. It doesn't cheat you, right? Like, if you put it on auto, it takes you through really quickly. Certainly not guaranteed to win. In a challenging fight like this, we may actually wind up losing. But I just want you guys to get a sense for the different strategies that are involved with the movements and the formation creations. And you can see see down on the very bottom also we have those uber skills which you can use mana points for, and you have to conserve your mana and use them at the right moments in the fight to take the maximum advantage of it. So there's a lot of strategy involved in this while still maintaining that turn-based style, which is something that's very important to me. I really haven't seen very many games that give you this sense of kind of like actively being involved while still maintaining a turn-based style. To me, this is one of the best kind of blends of those effects that I've seen. And there you go, guys. We were able to win. We passed our character mission and we've progressed. Obviously, there's going to be quite a few more missions, but we have progressed on our character mission. Now, before we go on a little bit further, I just want to remind you guys, this is a brand new game, and that means there are some really amazing deals on top of everything else. If you look at this fund button down here, you'll see that for $20, you actually can get an 1100% bonus in stones. And then if you look up at the top, you'll see that your first time top-up reward gives you 2-to-1 on every purchase, which I think is a really nice way to get into the game. You guys know I'm not free to play in most games I play. And those are some really nice introductory bonuses, but if you are free to play, I will tell you I haven't hit a wall yet either. I've been able to play and progress continuously without spending on the game. So I think you have a great opportunity either way you want to go, whether you want to take advantage of the big discounts or whether or not you just want to try and test out the game as a free-to-play player. Now, I mentioned that the game is all about the characters, right? So, in addition to the ability to give them skills and evolution and level up, obviously we can also give them gear. Now we can make the gear through crafting, and when you craft gear, you basically just farm out craft materials. You have the ability to make your weapons or your armor or your accessories. Most of these craft materials you can get through the Hunter Guild, which I'm going to talk about next. And then you also just get equipment through random drops when you're farming. So if I go to my gear list right here, we can see that I've got one light sword. And then if I wanted to go ahead and put that onto one of my characters, I could come in here to the equip menu, go ahead and click on my character, click on the light sword and equip it. And if you notice, my attack went up, which means my character got stronger. And then on top of that, I can actually upgrade each of my pieces of equipment once I have enough materials to do so. Now, lastly, and most importantly, is just simply the actual gameplay. So we talked about character missions. We've got a couple more gameplay options. The first is to go in through our quests, and we're able to actually look at our quests and our storyline. And then, in addition to the quests, we have the Hunters Guild. Now, the Hunters Guild is a separate combat line that you actually have to level up you level up by getting Hunters points. The higher your Hunter rank, the better jobs that you're able to get through the Hunters Guild. So if we look in here, you see we've got a daily dungeon, we've got some special jobs, but we're just going to search for normal jobs right now. So guys, we're going to close up with a little bit more gameplay, and while we're doing it, I also want to take the opportunity now to just talk you through a little bit more of the thought processes I'm using. Again, brand new to the game, I'm sure there's a lot of deeper strategy, which is why we're not doing this as some sort of how-to guide. But you can see right now, I'm using Homura, which is my warrior, so I'm trying to build my frontline tanks with Homura. Also, if you see, I like shift up like this in order to change my directions, so that I'm facing forward, so that when the enemy meets me, they're facing forward with me. So I'm using my warrior as a frontline tank. Now we have our Rika, who is a technique. She's a little bit squishier, so I usually put her somewhere behind Homura right here. Now in this case, we can't go exactly behind Homura, but what we can see is that the enemy cannot go behind Homura either. So we're gonna go ahead and just face her off to the right, so that way if the enemy does come up to attack, it's gonna be face to face. We're going to end our move here, and of course you saw the buffs that were coming from the Rika. That's part of the passive kit on the Rika. So that's the other reason we want her kind of set up like behind Homura and close to the rest of our front line, so she's buffing our front line. Now, we have our Julius, who is another mage, actually defined as sorcery, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to put Julius behind. The Julius can actually attack in front of Homura from 2 spots behind, so the mages get that two attack distance. Now, a lot of the different skills, by the way, I mentioned earlier, every character has its own special skill kit, right? So a lot of these special skill kits can attack in like different patterns. Part of when you're configuring your team is making sure that you can attack from a variety of ranges, so you can focus enough damage onto your enemy. Now we've got another warrior. This is Verdan, so we're going to come up here. Once again, we want to face Verdan forward. And if you notice, Verdan also has a passive as well. So now at this point, if I pull up the list of my passive buffs, you can see that we've got 50% increase on physical and magical defense, and then in addition, if my HP goes below 50%, I'll gain another 50% on top of that, and then I've also got a 15% increase in attack. So by making this configuration in the way that I have, I'm taking advantage of all these passives, which is honestly how I comprise most of my party. As I was looking for basically 3 frontline tanks, 2 distance attackers, a bunch of passives. Again, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more strategies that I'll formulate as I play the game more. So we finish up by creating our front line with Tosh, and now we're going to go ahead and wait for the enemy to move down to us. And as you can see, like, the enemy has to face me directly. So right here, I can actually move my Homura forward by 1 space by attacking head on right here. I'm going to get an attack up, and then I actually landed a critical hit, so that made things easy. But even if I had not landed the critical hit, I could have brought my mage up right behind my Homura, and then I would have been able to finish off with that 2 square distance. So far, I think Verdran is actually my favorite character. I always, in every game I play, I really prefer warriors to begin with, but I think the Counter Void. So we're going to go ahead and use Counter Void. It looks like we've got this fight well in hand, so I don't have to conserve the mana points, but we're going to use the Counter Void because guys, the animation is just really badass. So I really enjoy this particular animation. It's just kind of like, you know, see ya. I just see ya, right? GG, and it's done. Okay, so we finish up now with our Tosh. We're going to go ahead and fight head on. This should be a win right here. And guys, so once again, I really enjoy the combat style of this game. I think that the win icon is actually really cool as well. The storyline's been a lot of fun. Some of the writing is really, really funny. So many annoying things in the world, yeah. Truly said. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you can tell I really am enjoying this game. I don't promote any game that I don't think is worth trying out or playing, so I hope you guys give the game a shot. Download it. It's fun, guys. It's something really unique, really interesting, and it's got a really long history. The fact that it's the 7th game in the series and that it's a really popular series already means that it's got some good development behind it. It's got a really strong foundation. But overall, I think it's got a lot of potential to be a lot of fun. I love the tactical fighting concept, and I think it's worth trying out. So guys, anyway, on that note, as always, really appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you try out Arc the Lad R, and we'll see you on the next video.